this was supposed to start out as me saying to Jay Williams, who's a friend, like, what are you doing? Why are you doubling down on your Caitlin Clark isn't the GOAT take? And then I decided something yesterday. Like, there's no chance in hell I'm going to sit through an entire Indiana women's basketball game. I understand that's blasphemy. I understand you're not supposed to say that. I understand Indiana women's basketball is better than IU men's basketball. I get all that stuff, so save that. But I wasn't going to sit through the whole thing. My wife and I are watching a great show called Killers, but I turned and I said, hey, I want to watch fourth quarter. So we watched the fourth quarter, and my wife, who is a very, very harsh critic because she was a superstar in her sport of people, and particularly women in sports, is like, all she's doing is complaining. I mean, she's complaining everything, shooting bad shots, which I guess are good shots for her, missing layups, looking at her coaches, putting the hands out. She had 4 points in the second half, and I got to tell you, I got gas watching her. No, I did. I lifted a cheek. I lifted a cheek to you, Caitlin Clark, yesterday. And I know me and others, we decided that, hey, wait, Jay Williams was wrong by not saying she was the GOAT. I had said she was the GOAT. I rescind. Jay Williams did not rescind. Jay Williams, well, let's listen to what he said after he faced great criticism of his criticism of Caitlin Clark.
Please stop with all this race baiting shit. Please. Ain't nobody out here trying to do that. It's just hoopers. Now, the comment of great, they're both great, okay? We're talking about levels of greatness and immortality. And in the pantheon of greatness, there are levels to great with chips. That's how I think about it. You think about it differently, fine. But the only thing I'm going to say is to all you keyboard courageous people that want to call me a bum or try to make fun of my career, none of y'all could hold me. None of y'all. 90% of y'all didn't even pick up a basketball. You can't even dribble the rock. You can't even shoot. So let's stop being tough guys on the keyboard. Just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean you need to call their game a bum when you know that's not the case. Because every game day, I bring these people on the court for them to shoot around, and people airball the ball, but these are the same people calling people bums. And I laugh. I'm like, oh, who's really the bum? And it's out of love. I come from a place of love. I don't come from a place of hate.
Say all this stuff, call people bums, but I come from a place of love. Yeah, well, he's full of shit. I can hold him. I guarantee you. I mean, he can kiss my ass with that. I mean, he just some little dookie. Make it get tough, and I'll hold his ass. Are you out of your mind? That'd be easy. Hell, I held MJ. I'll hold him. 60 years old, I'll hold his sorry ass. I mean, what, are you nuts? Maybe not right now, though. I just forgot I have a replaced knee. Hey, the hip is good, though. Yeah, that's so stupid. I mean, I'm embarrassed for him because you could play at Duke. Look, hey, I'll say this. Jay Williams, go to Rutgers. Why don't you go to Rutgers? You tell everybody you were almost going to Rutgers. Why didn't you go to Rutgers? I mean, why didn't you win a championship there? What, you didn't have Battier? You didn't have Dunleavy? You didn't have Boozer? Hell, you couldn't beat Indiana with freaking Kyle Hornsby, who's a great doctor, by the way, and a great shooter. Dane Fife didn't play in the NBA. I don't know. Did A.J. Moye play in the NBA? Nope. George Leach? Nope. Jeff Newton? Nope. Jared Jeffries did. One. And you had all those guys. So don't act like you're some mega baller. You couldn't play in the era that I played, so shut up. You'd be crying. I didn't hear that. And now that I've heard it, I'm like, shut up. I could hold you. Hell, I held guys back in the day, but I got to get the knee fixed first. You couldn't hold me. That's always the moron's answer. Look, if you were so great and it was about chips, then you should have gone to Rutgers. But you went to a stacked team, won something, and now you're talking like you're something. Hell, we beat Michael Jordan, and we had one pro, Uwe Blab. I mean, they had 8. Don't even try that crap. Jesus. Oh, man. But to the point of, well, is Caitlin Clark great? Of course it's race baiting. We all know that. I mean, hey, as soon as anybody says it's not race baiting, at least I'm honest about it. If that was African-American girl, it would be a totally different deal with Jay Will and Cheryl Swoops and every other African-American. I mean, look, we're beyond that. We understand that. That's not even up for debate right now. That's not something that you can say, well, we wonder if it's race. We know it is. It is what Donald Trump provided us. Clear lines. I'm a crazy-ass liberal. I'm a conservative. I hate white people. We see it all the time. Don't even try to say that's not race. Of course it's race. It's what you guys do. Everything is race. Little white girl, not lesbian, Catholic, dates McAfee's son. Oh, we hate her. The mean lesbians of the WNBA, the African-American announcers. We know this. We know this. Everybody knows it. This isn't some freaking like, oh, my God, can you – no. That was 10 years ago where we all had to be quiet. White dudes in particular, about 3, 4, 5 years ago when idiots and thugs were rioting and we're all supposed to sit there and go, oh, my God. And I did. Hell, I wasn't stupid. I shut up. And then I realized, wait a second. These are thugs burning down my city. Screw you. But, of course, it's race baiting. But I will say this. I watched Caitlin Clark twice. Second half, fourth period. I think they call it periods. Oh, my God. Can you imagine a women's game calling it period? We must not call it that. Fourth quarter. Hockey's periods. I'm sorry. Anyway, fourth quarter, I watched her against Nebraska. Bad shots, bad attitude, bitching. And I know you're not supposed to say bitching, but I say bitching about everything. It's just what I do. Coach Knight did. I did. My dad did it. So I quit bitching, Dan. Oh, okay. I watched her against Nebraska. She was awful. I watched her last night against Indiana. She was awful. And not just awful in terms of missing shots. And she missed some easy ones against Indiana and got frustrated. Well, you know what, Goats? I guess they get frustrated too. I guess that's just what we're going to say. She's a great basketball player, obviously. The crazy lesbians of the WNBA are going to make life miserable for her. We know this. African Americans are mad because, well, as those idiots, Gilbert Arenas and others say, this is our sport. It's not. Hell, I held the greatest player in the history of basketball, kicked his ass out of the NCAA tournament, and then bitch slapped him on the golf course for $6,000 that he never paid because he's a Welch. But I digress. Anyway, I'm not all in anymore on Caitlin Clark after watching that act last night. I'll get back, though. She'll hit some deep threes, go like this or give it that or whatever, and then we'll all fall in love again. But Caitlin Clark was a mess last night. She was embarrassing for herself. She was very un-goat-like, and it was the same thing against Nebraska, which leads me to believe, is she just a front runner? I don't know. When things go good, well, y'all know, come on now, I was going to shoot a logo 3. Okay. For the record, come on now. Okay. You think little farm girls say, come on now? Do you really? Okay. Anyway, it's so funny. Anyway, I watched her twice. No good. It's great. And I'm sure Iowa will come at me. The corn folk will send Adam Woodbury and his eye-poking self at me. But I'm just telling you, I ain't mad at Jay Williams for talking about her not being the GOAT anymore. But Jay Williams, an idiot. You can't check I can check you. Let me get my left knee. No, give me, a year. Let me get my left knee right. I'll check you today, tomorrow, the next day. What are you talking about? Anyway, Stephen A. Smith, who is dumber than dumb. No, that's a lie. I got to take that back. He is not. That is not a case. He has made himself, he's very smart. No, that's dumb. He's racially stupid. Let me put it that way. Meaning he has to make everything about race while being stupid. He's stupid about Pat McAfee. Like, African Americans at ESPN, 1,000% get treated better, more leeway. They show up late. They yell loud. I mean, they just do. And everybody there knows it. And I wouldn't say it unless Stephen A. Smith didn't start lying and saying that McAfee, meaning other whites, are treated better, and he has to be better. No. All you got to do is have a resume, and on it says, hey, I used to play, I'm African-American, you'll get a job in broadcasting at ESPN. Danny Z told the story. It's just a fact. I'm not mad about it, care less. But I'm just telling you it's a fact. I mean, you want a job? If you don't, like we have a guy here in town named Stephen Holder. Stephen Holder, African-American guy. Reason he's with ESPN is African-American guy. Gives no insight. And if he was any good, he would be on a desk every morning on one of these shows. But he's so bad that even as an African-American, he can't get it. But we all know this. But Smith came out, and the reason I'm talking about it is Smith came out and said that white guys or black guys got to be better. No, they don't. All they got to do is show up. I mean, let's be honest. Same thing in college basketball. Coach, all you got to do is show up, you'll get a job. Anyway, so Stephen A. Smith was talking trash about Pat McAfee. Well, Stephen A. Smith then has walked back what he has said about Pat McAfee. I was not talking about Pat McAfee. Well, yeah, you were. Well, of course you were. You said literally he's not as polished as you. I mean, I don't understand. Like, when people don't have a chin, now just pay attention to this. When people don't have a chin and they have big mouths, they are gutless. I just watch it. Watch it your whole life. This was pointed out to me at a very young age. We had a kid in our neighborhood. We called him Chin. And all he did was talk. And anytime it came down to tackle with it, he was gutless. So I've always thought that. So I see Stephen A. Smith. I see no chin. I see that he makes fun of McAfee. Can't keep McAfee's mouth or name out of his mouth. Can't keep his show out of his mouth. And yet, here's what he says. I wasn't talking about Pat McAfee. You literally said Pat McAfee is not as polished. I was not talking about his show. You literally were talking about his show. I support him and his show. That's like saying I have hair. Stephen A. Smith is so jealous of what's going on with Pat McAfee that he cannot stand it. And really, ESPN has to get their employees in line. I mean, these guys are idiots. Listen to this. The more successful I become, of course, I've said it before, I'll say it again many times over. Hell, whether he believes it or not, I don't really know. We've never really talked about it. I can tell you this for a fact. One of the greatest things that ever happened to somebody in my position is Pat McAfee and his show coming to ESPN and then getting paid because you set the market. See, ESPN needs to straighten out its employees. It does. And they opened up a Pandora's box where African Americans can say anything they want, blah, 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 blah. We saw it with Ryan Clark talking about his contract. ESPN needs to do what ESPN used to do. ESPN used to be the place where you knew you had to perform and you could be gone at any time. They did not renegotiate with Mike Tirico. They did not renegotiate with Brad Nessler. They're like, hey, you guys can go. We got somebody to take your place. That's what ESPN needs to get back to doing because they're a mess. Internally, I hear it all the time. What a freaking S show. Guys showing up late, guys showing up unprepared. It's a mess. Guys publicly talking about their contracts. Let me ask you a question. Just a question. In any other company, major company, do you ever hear people talking about their money? Do you ever hear so much talk about their money? Like Eli Lilly, Pharma. Do you ever hear employees talking about their money? No. Most adults that have a brain shut up. They do about their money. They negotiate. They're tough on it. Ryan Clark came out and started talking about like he was trying to get public support. Like, what a pussy. Stephen A. Smith can't stop on it. Like ESPN could right now, and they don't understand it. Same thing with Indiana basketball. If I were going to hire a coach in Indiana basketball and say, I'm paying you $500,000 a year, I'll tell you what, I'll make it sweeter. You get 2 cars, one for your wife, membership to the country. I'll do some of that stuff. Now, if you want to go back and coach at Rhode Island or you want to stay at Texas Tech or you want to stay at Mississippi, God bless you. But this is Indiana. This is what we're doing. Same thing with ESPN. A. Smith, we're going to get somebody fill in that show. It may go bad for a little bit, but I'll tell you what, it's going to get good. Eventually, we'll find the right guy. Now, this is what we're paying you. I'm done with you guys race baiting. Take it, leave it, period. But ESPN doesn't have that kind of balls because somebody will call them racist. Bobby Barack talks about it all the time. Look, when you are in a position of ESPN, you're the worldwide leader. Act like it. That's why I always like George Steinbrenner and Bob Knight. That's why I cannot stand Indiana basketball players right now. They act like they're normal. George Steinbrenner, when he bought the Yankees, knew he had the Yankees, so I'm going to go buy great players. ESPN used to know we're ESPN. We can fill a Tirico spot. We don't want to pay that much. We can fill Nessler's spot. We don't want to pay that much. Now, they haven't been able to, really. I mean, the list of guys that are doing games is embarrassing for ESPN, while Tirico and Nessler both have gone on to great things. It's embarrassing the college basketball guys as I've gone on to great things. The DEI hires in college basketball, it makes it unwatchable. But the fact of the matter is simply this. ESPN has stopped, what's the right word? Not controlling. Stopped acting from a position of strength. They're acting from a position of racial weakness. Oh, my God, if we don't sign Ryan Clark, well, we're going to be called racist. That's why they kept Bomani Jones for so long. That's why they kept Jalen Rose. They wanted to fire Jalen Rose 100 years ago. Jalen Rose was bad at his job, ill-prepared, a mouth, tough to work with, all about himself. Why do you think that NBA show has never taken off? Charles Barkley's the easiest guy in America to work with. He's easy. I mean, he doesn't need to sit there and be the star and be the smartest guy in the room. Smith does. Wilbon does. That's why that show is god-awful and getting worse. But anyway, ESPN hasn't figured out that we are in control here. And I'm tired. I would do this. I mean, I'd take the bullets. Hey, ESPN's racist. Yeah, okay, so what? Big deal. Because we didn't sign a guy? What other company do you hear? What other company do you hear their employees talking so much about their money? You open up that Pandora's box, man. That's what you get. All right, the end of coaching, as we know it, happened yesterday. A lot of you think it happened well before. Nope. The end of coaching happened yesterday. Dan, what happened yesterday? Well, let me tell you what happened yesterday. And I got to get my earpiece in for this because here's the deal. Rick Pitino has always been a very honest, bad Mother Hubbard as a coach. Always been tough, unafraid. Rick Pitino the other day came out and he criticized his players. Old school. Well, here's Rick Pitino backtracking on that. It says we got Rick Pitino. What's going on? Did I miss it? Am I not hearing it? Hello? Hello? Anybody, somebody in my ear, text me, anything. I'm being told I got Rick Pitino apologizing for criticizing his team. Come in, Tokyo. I guess not. I don't know. I mean, I got 8 million producers. Can one of them text me? What's going on, guys? Oh, 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's the end of coaching. He reversed his course on recent comments he made about his roster. After saying this is the most unenjoyable experience of his lifetime, he is now backtracked. Well, I got to tell you, I'm not going to lie. Rick Pitino backtracking means the end of coaching. It just does. The end of coaching as we know it. The sadness that I have for Rick Pitino saying what he's saying, I think we have it now. Go ahead. All right, well, I'm going to move on then if we don't have it. But this is a big point for me. Hang on, caller. This is pissing me off. This has got me angry. This is why you love the show, because what other show on TV is the host looking around? Seriously. Anyway, I guess we'll move on from Pitino, but I'm sad about that because I want to talk about him. Nick Sirianni. I try to tell people all the time. I'm like, man, you're a coach. Shut up. You know what I mean? Nick Sirianni, the coach of the Eagles, just gave the dumbest excuse for why he is struggling as a coach. I got to tell you, Nick Sirianni has negatively been impacted by the suspension handed to the big fat guy named Dom. He says, listen, according to Gunn, who's a guy, I guess, I wish you guys would put in who Gunn is. But anyway, Dom DeSandro is a big fat guy. He's a big fat guy on the sidelines, got a hassle with the San Francisco 49ers, and they kicked big fat Dom DeSandro out, off the sideline. Gone. See ya. Adios. Well, Nick Sirianni is saying things like this. I'm getting in arguments. According to Gunn, the banishment of security chief Don DeSandro from the sidelines after he made contact with Dre Greenlaw during the December 2nd game against San Francisco threw Nick Sirianni off balance. Big Dom controls Sirianni's emotions on the sidelines. And in his absence, Nick gets in numerous arguments with players and coaches during games. Well, then Nick Sirianni's an idiot. I mean, honest to God. I mean, if you need a big fat guy to sit there and keep you under control, then you're a child. What are you doing? You need a big fat guy to go with you on a recruiting trip. You need a big fat guy to say, hey, we're playing cards at my house. You need a big fat guy to come over when you're sad. But if you need a big fat guy, and Derek Gunn apparently is a reporter, to control your emotions during a game on the sideline, what in the Sam hell are we doing? Like, be an adult. At some point, you're the coach. You're the coach. I always thought this as a coach. I'm the coach. I'm going to act like a coach. I mean, I may make the wrong decision. I may not do everything perfect, but I'm going to be the goddamn coach. I'm going to be the guy that sets the thing here. We're going to do what in the hell I want done. Period. That's it. And I'm not going to be like, well, because big fat guy isn't here, I'm going to lose my mind. The Eagles went on a free fall after Big Dom's suspension. What? It lasted the rest of the regular season. They won only one more game, gave up the division title. Look at that. That's unbelievable. After the lone victory on Christmas, Sirianni admitted he was too tense during the game. What, is Sirianni a child? Look, I understand. I like Sirianni. He looks like a friend of mine, Daryl Collins, who was really a tough guy, good dude. But I got to tell you, if you need a big fat guy to do anything other than to eat with, drink with, play cards with, get in a fist fight with, then you're an idiot. If you're a coach, an NFL Super Bowl playing coach, and you need that fat guy right there, his sorry ass can't control his weight, stupid looking, I'm a sausage eating, what do you do? I own a gym. Every NFL guy you know with a big mouth, what do you do? I own a gym. I'm a trainer. Yeah, shut up. What does Big Dom do? He eats. Probably little numbers on the side. Maybe a little brawl here or there. He's got all the answers. You need women? Hey. No, that's straight from the movies. But my God, look at this fat. I was going to call him I hate this. Like, I get tired of guys like Big Fat Dom that could not play dead. You know what I'm saying? And yet he's in a hassle with a professional football player. It's amazing to me. It's astounding to me. And it's like Indiana fans that say we. I'm like, we? We? I didn't see you there at a 5 o'clock practice when Knight was making me dive loose ball drills against a 270-pound guy. I didn't see you there. We? I got a lot of stuff in my brain that just, I don't know. But look at Big Dom. Sirianni, you know what that tells me about Sirianni? He's a fraud. And he needs a little protector. I mean, no, Siri. See, I don't know, Siri. I didn't say Siri. So why are you coming on? I didn't say Siri. They're listening. I'm telling you, it pisses me off. It pisses me off that they're listening. I didn't say it. And yet, here she is. But anyway, Big Dom needs to be back. Man, I'd be looking at him like, actually, as a player, I wouldn't care. Actually, as a player, it'd be like, hey, man, Big Dom, no Big Dom. You going to play me? Big Dom, no Big Dom. Am I getting in the game? Big Dom, no Big Dom. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable. You know, but here's the thing. Why are we paying these guys? Like, why are we paying Sirianni millions of dollars if he's so mentally unstable? Why are we doing it? Like, like you're paid you're paid more than the CEO of Eli Lilly a lot of times, who has thousands of people, millions of different drugs, all this different stuff. And you know what? You're so mentally weak that you got to have a big fat guy hanging out next to you, or else you can't control yourself. See, what needs to happen, I mean, I hate to say this, but what needs to happen, and this is going to happen, one of his players needs to punch him. Yeah, I hate to say, if you're going to be all this argumentative, and you're going to be a player's coach, and you're going to be the guy, not Big Dom, they don't need to punch him. Nuh-uh. Sirianni. One of the players needs to go, hey, coach, man, I'm going to hit you. And you're going to stop all this, and you're going to act like a professional. Or I won't hit you. And you're going to stop all this and act like a professional. I don't care whether the fat ass is here or not. You're going to act like a professional. And if you can't, well, don't coach us. Honest to God, it makes me crazy that we have so many coaches that are so immature, so goofy. I tell you what, we got one coming up here at 10 o'clock, Shaka Smart, who's the exact opposite. This dude knows who he is. Shaka Smart knows his ass from third base. Big time. And he's doing a hell of a job with the Marquette. I'm going to call them Warriors. I think they're the Golden Eagles. When I was a kid, they were the Marquette Warriors. We're going to talk to Armando about this, but I am just stunned that this guy cannot control his emotions because, well, Big Dom isn't by me. See, Nick Saban didn't need Big Dom. You know, it's interesting. Nick Saban never fired a coach. That's what I was told the other day. I'm going to read you something. You know what I mean? I'm going to read you a little something from a friend of mine about coaches. I got these NFL guys that send me this stuff. I told you Vrabel called me the other day out of the blue, or texted me the other day out of the blue. But I got this from an NFL coach, and he was talking about Ryan Day. Listen to this. Did you know this? Ryan Day has fired 8 coaches over the last 3 years. This guy says, Woody, Bo, Joe Pa, Urban, even your boy Saban, never fired but maybe one guy in their career. Urban one, Saban never. Woody, Joe Pa, and Bo, all those guys would always talk about developing coaches, grinding them. Coaches would leave on their own because it was tough. That's right. They would go get head coaching jobs. Ryan Day has fired 9 guys. Nick Saban fired none. Ryan Day is a little insecure guy. I've defended him, but my God. So back to Saban real quick. He's going to go into media, and he's going to be very good. He opened up talking about the state of college football. He said, if my voice can bring some meaningful change, then I want to help any way that I can because I love the players. I love college football. What we have now is not college football. Not college football as we know it. You hear someone use the word student athlete, that doesn't exist. Wow. That's pretty strong. I think the consequences of this could come down the road when some of these guys, this is so true, get 28 or 29 years old and maybe didn't prepare themselves for when they can't play football anymore, which is what you should do when you go to college. Now, I was talking to Tom Izzo the other day. I talked to a lot of people. Very popular man. Talking to Tom Izzo, he made an unbelievable point. He said, we're giving all these 18-year-olds money. And that's great. Got it, I don't think he does. How many child stars get arrested, have problems, that had everything at a young age? A lot. I am hoping that Saban is wrong. I'm hoping that at 28, 29 years old, the vast majority of players are good. But I don't know that to be true. Saban would know more than me whether or not the role of student athlete is something that doesn't exist. I will tell you this. My son coaches at Illinois State, and I know it exists there. It may not exist at Alabama. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't. It may just be a factory. You may take everything online, get your work done, have someone do it for you, get a girlfriend to come over, boyfriend, whatever. It may not exist at Alabama, but I'll tell you this, it exists at Illinois State. And I'm pretty sure, in talking to trainers and stuff at Purdue, it exists at Purdue. Now, maybe Nick Saban told on himself, or maybe Nick Saban told on a complete and total industry. I don't know. But I do know this. Nick Saban, if he truly wants to be a voice, tell us what college football is right now. Lay it out for us. Tell us what you think college football should be. Lay it out for us. See, so many of these guys get a pass. Nick Saban's going to get a pass for saying what he said here, like he's some rebel letting us know. Well, he's not. Nick, somebody should follow up. All right, Nick, what is college football right now? How much did you have to pay? How much did Milroe want? Because I was told Milroe and others came into his office demanding money with agents, and that's when he quit. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea. I've been told that by very reliable sources, but lay it out for us. Tell us. Let us know if you're going to be a voice. Or you're going to get a pass, and you know you're going to get a pass. You're going to get called outspoken by saying this gibberish. You are. No one except for me is going to call you out, but I coached for 25 years. I want to know. See, to me, college football is better than it's ever been. It's more fun. I can gamble on it. I don't give a damn whether anybody goes to class. You want the truth? I give a damn if half of these guys end up broke. I don't care what they are when they're 28 or 29. It's like I don't care what they are now. You guys get all caught up in 18 to 23-year-olds and their feelings. I don't care. If somebody tells me, hey, look, so-and-so got arrested at Indiana and he's the quarterback, I'd say, okay, great. Who's the backup? I mean, I understand football players on college campus are stone idiots. Not all, some, most. Don't know. Enough. So what do I care? But college football is awesome. So I would love for Nick or anybody else that telling me that college football is no good, I would love to hear what's it supposed to be. What is it? What's bad? What's good? If not, shut up. I mean, I know we're all supposed to genuflect to Nick Saban and his little championships. That's great. But if you're not going to tell us anything and you're just going to mumbo, blah, 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 blah. Don't need that. How much you paying guys? What's the going rate? Did that Beck kid with the Lamborghini, what's he doing? What made you quit? I mean, if you really want to, can you imagine if Nick Saban said, hey, Milroe and others came into my office, demanded this much money, and I told them to stick it. People might wake up, Nick. But you saying college football isn't what it is. It doesn't exist. I think the consequences could be when some of these guys are 28 and 29 years old. What do we care? I don't give a damn. If somebody said, hey, 5 years, a guy that played so-and-so 5 years ago got arrested, I go, okay, great. He's an idiot. I'm probably a bad guy. Let's get back to Ricky Pitino, the end of coaching. Rick Pitino was always a guy that I admired from afar. I never coached with him, never really spoke with him. When I worked at ESPN, he would text me back. Now that I don't, he doesn't. I get that. I ain't mad about it. It's the way the world works. But the fact of the matter is, Ricky Pitino used to be a hard ass. Ricky Pitino used to be a guy that, you know what, wasn't afraid of players. Ricky Pitino the other day went off on his players. Most miserable experience that I have had. I don't like Ricky Pitino sounded like Rick Pitino to me. But guess what he did? He did what every sniveling little coach does these days. He walked back those comments. He walked back those comments because I'm sure his players were upset. I'm sure his little and tired fellas, his guys, walked around moping the next day. You don't like me. You don't like me. Yeah, well, tough. Here's Rick Pitino, sadly walking it back.
And I'm really, really proud to have them, but I totally apologize to them for doing that. It was no intent. I was very calm, very collected, and I wasn't ripping them. That wasn't my intent. But words matter. Words matter. I watch a lot of politics, and I see what these politicians say about each other, and I cringe, absolutely cringe, and say, thank God I'm a basketball coach. So I just want to briefly say, my guys are the most important thing. My family and my players, outside of breathing air, they're the most important thing in my life. That's why I'm still coaching today. They are the air that I breathe. And I love them dearly. I would never want to embarrass them or hurt them. A couple of them certainly were, but they went out yesterday and had the best practice of the year. So I'm real proud of that.
I told you that was going to happen. Not the apology. I'm shocked at this. My family, really? The lawsuit going on says maybe it wasn't that important. But anyway, I digress. I told you they were going to have a great practice. They were going to play great. I didn't see this apology coming, and some of my players were hurt. Coach, you said you said that you were you. I'm going to try to send, and hopefully these guys can download it by the end of the show. Bob Knight coaching Steve Alford. Bob Knight took Steve Alford as a scrawny Indiana kid. And next thing you know, they win a national championship. But I'm going to say, I don't know if these guys can get it done. I mean, I don't know how it all works back with Dylan and Nick. I know they're the best in the business. I ain't apologizing to you clowns for ripping your ass, by the way. I'm not Pitino. You guys didn't have that Pitino audio ready. Screw you guys. I ain't going back on it. Now, this is old school. Dan Dakich, Bob Knight, you clowns. And I'm not prefacing it by saying I love you guys either. Screw you. You didn't have the Pitino stuff ready. 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'll meet you in the damn gym. I'm coming to New York to rip some ass. I'm sorry. I know Nick and Nick, you got sad by that, and I'm so sorry. What the fuck? I mean, honest to God. Nick says he's entering the transfer portal. Hey, get Slappy Johnny on the phone. Double his NIL money. Where's Joey Bag of Donuts? Susie Rottencrotch. Get them all in here. We need hookers, blow, and money. We got to keep Nick here. That's real college football. Come on. You know that's what it's real. That's real. We got to keep Nick. He says he's entering the portal. Can't have it.